Yeah, you know, and that's like one of the people who listen to the show. They just sent me a message. He got to answer to God, and you're right.
Yep,
but
he's right.
It's just, man, you know, I'm overzealous, so I'm gonna ruin someone's life. I'm not ruining. You know, at some point, adulthood has to kick in. You have to go. At the end of the day, this is a human being and a young person. You know, that could have put you in the wrong mind state, and you could have went in a totally different direction. So,
and you're 100% right.
Mm-hmm.
But see, that's what this game does to people. You know, and not to let him off by any, you know, stretch of the tail, but that's what this game does to people. I mean, look what's going on now. Look what's going on now. You know, you and I was talking about it before we went on air. Look what's going on now. Guys throwing all this money to these kids. Guys, you know, the AAU, you know, not doing things the right way with kids. You know, so you have all of this stuff going on the right way because this game has gotten confused. Coaches are confused. They lost. They forgot what this game is about. And this game is all about those kids. It ain't about them. But anytime you start paying people $4, $5, $6 million a year, they lose sight. And I think people have lost sight. And that was one of the things I told my wife when I resigned from coaching. I told her, I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm a part of this hypocrisy. I was like, I can't be a part of this hypocrisy no more. I was like, because what they're doing is they're running around here telling kids that, and the NCAA is in this too, well, yeah, it's all about you guys graduating. No, it's not. It's all about how many games this university wins so we can get as much money as we can, you know, because the university is, you know, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm bashing it because the overall model of it is on point. The overall model is on point. Get these kids, give them an opportunity, give them an education. It's free, and you know, and then help them out into society. But where the confusion comes in at is when guys they stop telling these kids what's important. You know, when we got kids traveling, like when I was at UIC, you know, we had the league, the conference switched us to what we called travel partners. So we would leave school on Tuesday. We wouldn't get back until Sunday night.
Wow.
So you've had these kids out of class Wednesday, Thursday, Friday because we played 2 basketball games, and then we had to travel. We get back late Sunday night, and you want them to get up and go to school Monday morning. You don't have an academic person on the bus or it's staying in the hotel with them, then how's it about the kids graduating? And that's where the model is a little broken and where it needs to be fixed. I think they are right. I love what they're doing, giving kids scholarships. I wouldn't be on the phone with you or sitting where I am being able to give back to kids in the community. I wouldn't have played as long as I have. I probably would not have earned the living that I have if it was not for that model to get me to school. But at the same time, man, let's not forget.
Yeah, that's where you're about to go. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Everybody, the biggest conversation in America today in sports is we need to pay these players. Where do you stand in regards to that, and do you have any potential solutions?
Well, I'm all about solutions, you know, and I think that's what's most important. I think players should be compensated in some shape, form, or fashion because just their education is not paying for their education is just not enough. Because the college athlete is just like every other student, except for a lot of their time is taken away, especially with basketball, you know, because your season runs almost the whole length of school with, you know, training and practice. And this is football as well, with training and practice and video and travel and this. You're out of school more than John Smith is, the regular student. But John Smith can get a job. John Smith can earn Why shouldn't I be able, as a student athlete, to earn at the same time? If I'm playing and we're on TV and I'm making tons of money for the university, why shouldn't I be able to benefit with that? Now, you ask for possible solutions. You got to figure out a dollar amount that's flat across the board for each and every athlete. Now, some people say that's not fair, because let's say Bagley or one of those guys is more important to the program, so he's making more money. Yeah. He's getting more people sitting in the stands watching him play. So this is why you allow him to make money off of his name, off of his jersey sales. If somebody's buying his jersey, you give him 5% of the jersey, and the rest goes back to the school. So the 11th guy on the bench is not him. So he should not earn the same thing that he did. But yet we have this piece here where he's getting the same thing. This guy's just able to use his own name to benefit himself. I think that takes a lot of these other people out of it. I mean, just think about because you can't do that right now. You remember what happened with Terrell Pryor, football player.
Terrell
at Ohio
Pryor,
State.
yeah, solo stand.
He gets a tattoo. Yeah, he gets a tattoo, and he gives the guy his jersey with his name on it, and the school gets put on probation. To me, that's crazy.
Coach got fired.
Yeah. Coach was forced to resign, lost scholarships. They got in trouble. Because I can remember, and I tell people all the time, I was kidding with my daughter. We just went down on her campus orientation down in Champaign. She's going to Illinois next year. We're sitting in I appreciate that. We're sitting in the cafeteria, and I'm looking at this cafeteria, and I'm like, man, this is crazy. All of the selections that these kids have to eat. And I'm kidding with her. I was like, man, you guys got it good. Because we had 3 things to choose from. And if you were not in the dorm by 6 o'clock, you didn't eat. So now you can, my freshman year, I sat in my dorm many a night with no food. Why? Because my mom couldn't send me money. My grandmother couldn't send me money. So now if I don't have nobody to send me money, well, I can go out and buy a pizza or something. I'm stuck. And this is really the life of a lot of these guys. It's a little bit better now because coaches are allowed to feed the players, whenever they need, which was a rule where you could only feed them twice a year before. So they've kind of done away with that. Cafeterias now stay up a little bit longer. They stay open longer, so it's kind of alleviated a little bit of that. But sure, what if I want to go get a haircut? What if
you
I
gotta hope somebody on the team can cut hair.
Yes. What if I see a book bag that I want to go get? I can't go get those things, especially not where I'm from, and you know where that is.
Yeah.
I can't go there. There are no extras. So that would be one solution that I would offer up. But there are guys in this that are paid to make those decisions. I'm sure they could figure out something that's fair to both the university and to the players. I mean, especially since the scholarship players, the revenue sports, are paying for the other sports as well. But again, nothing against golf. I love golf. I'm not real good at it, but I love it. Most of the golf kids that are there, they're getting partial scholarships off of what the revenue sports are earning. And mom and dad, golf is an expensive sport.
Right.
Most of them come from backgrounds where,
from the hood. Right.
Yes. So most of those, they have the money to be able to send them some extra cash. Whereas, my grandma, like I said, my grandmother couldn't send me no money because it just wasn't none to send.
Right. I was about to say, we come from an environment where we're trying to survive. We're not even living. We surviving day to day.
Exactly. Yep. Perfect way to put it.
Government cheese and the powdered milk. It don't travel well, and that's the thing that kills me. Now, this is something that I've said this to each and every individual that had some kind of contact with kids in universities. I would really like to see institutions hire a therapist for our young people, simply because coming from Inglewood, coming from the village, and then we moved up down the street. Look, I go from the village to down the street from Cabrini Green. Yeah, a big uplift. But we moving up. But
yeah, you're moving up all right? Because it was just more floors.
Yeah, that's pretty much. That's it, man. And the crazy thing is, we went through traumatic situations, and I would love to, if you can talk to somebody or if you bump into somebody, hopefully we can start our young people getting some mental health issues addressed. So not only for the kid that stays in school and matriculates to the program and gets acquires his degree, that he can get some therapy to help him become a better person. Or even that young athlete, I'm the one-and-done guy, and I can go pro, or I'm the guy who you didn't see coming, and I can go pro after 2 years or what have you. That guy needs to have somebody to talk to as well, because the stuff that we saw in the village, the stuff that you saw in the Inglewood, the stuff that I saw on the lower north side of Chicago, it didn't affect us. It doesn't affect us to this day. But I'm quite sure without your grandmother, without my mother, and my aunts, and my uncles, and so forth and so on, Coach Hambrick, the Jimmy Fields, the Anthony Thomases of the world, we would be like a lot of these young men with getting caught with firearms, beating up girlfriends, being in violent instances. And do you think that can ever be addressed? Because that will help you become a better person. And if the education is supposed to help you earn, the therapy could potentially help you earn as well and maximize your ability as an earner.
Right. Well, I'll tell you this. I agree with you 100%. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you remember Anthony Welch, who played at Illinois back in the early mid 80s. Actually ended up becoming the grad assistant when I was at Illinois. Is exactly working on that very thing. More of a mentoring program as to not just therapy, but more for a mentoring program, because Anthony's from Detroit. Anthony grew up the same way we did, and he understands and he sees the fact that, these kids need that. It's a necessity to be able to help them cope. So then you don't have some of these violent outbursts that some kids have had while away at school, living in a different and new environment. Because I know I can speak for me. When I walked in on that campus in Champaign, man, I was like, what the heck is this? But just to get us and teach us how to cope, because it's so different than anything that we've dealt with or that we've seen. So we need that person to be able to say, hey, this is what you're going to face. This is what you have to do to be able to teach you. Mentors, college mentors, the same as we needed mentors coming up, the Jimmy Collinses, the Bob Hambricks, and everyone else. We needed those guys. And so this is what, guys need. They not just guys, they all need it, especially people coming from where we have come from, because we've dealt with a unique situation that most kids going to college have not dealt with. Like and I'm telling the story, and it's going to be in my book. First time I saw somebody killed, I was 10. How many 10-year-olds have ever or need to ever see something like that in their lives? Now, and I'm going to sit right here today and say it affected me. I've had, some violent outbursts, and, now people are like, man, Deon, you are such a nice guy. And I was like, and I am, because I do everything in my bone to not get angry, because it's like, it's like a night and day thing. I don't see straight. And I know that's coming from where I'm from, and the stuff I had to deal with and the stuff I had to see, because your body and your brain will defend itself. And I know that's what it is. And so, I'm with you 100% on that, brother. And as a matter of fact, like I said, Anthony Welch and we've talked multiple times and talked to the university as well as other universities about implementing something along those lines.
Hey, man, because I've told the story to everybody who's been on the show. Two of my closest friends, we live, like I said, down the street from Cabrini Green Projects. And it was a certain time of the night that you couldn't go to the restaurant. You remember the restaurant in Cooley High right before they jumped on the back of the